There are moments in life when the ordinary seems to crack open and something greater begins to shine through. You may think it is coincidence or a fleeting thought, but it is the whisper of the divine announcing itself. When God is preparing to give you something greater than you have ever known, signs begin to gather around you. First, there is an inner stirring. You feel restless, as though the life you've been living no longer fits. This discomfort is not punishment, it is preparation. The old must be outgrown so the new can be born. Second, you begin to see patterns and synchronicities. Numbers, encounters, words spoken at the perfect time, all serve as reminders that you are not walking alone. Third, you may find yourself losing what once seemed essential. Friendships shift, doors close, opportunities disappear. Do not be deceived. These are not losses, but the clearing of space for the abundance to come. Fourth, there rises within you a vision that refuses to die. Even in your darkest hour, a seed of desire burns steady. That desire is not random. It is a preview of what is already yours in spirit, awaiting manifestation. Fifth, silence becomes your companion. In quiet moments, you feel the gentle certainty that what you seek is already unfolding. Doubt visits, but deep within, peace whispers louder. And finally, you sense a great alignment, as if heaven and earth lean in your direction. The impossible begins to feel possible. The unseen begins to feel near. That is how you know God is about to give you something big. So trust the process. Celebrate the signs. Do not resist the shedding, the stillness, the strange pull toward more. For what is coming is already here, waiting only for you to believe. Restlessness signals preparation. When the soul begins to stir and the heart feels uneasy, it is often not a sign that something is wrong, but that something greater is on the horizon. That inner agitation, that sense that the life you are living no longer fully satisfies you, is not random. It is the Spirit's way of nudging you out of what is familiar, so that you may step into what is destined. Many mistake restlessness for failure or confusion, but in truth, it is a sacred announcement that change is near. God rarely allows us to remain comfortable when He is preparing to enlarge our territory. The moment you begin to feel out of place in your current surroundings, it is a sign that the season is shifting. This restlessness may show up as boredom with what once thrilled you, or dissatisfaction with roles, places, and relationships that once felt secure. It can feel unsettling, even frightening, because the mind craves stability, while the spirit yearns for expansion. You may wake up wondering why you no longer fit where you used to belong. That is not a weakness. That is preparation. Just as the shell becomes too small for the growing seed, your current circumstances can no longer contain who you are becoming. When restlessness rises, the wise do not resist it. They do not numb it with distraction or bury it with fear. They listen. They lean in. For it is in those moments that you are being called to stretch. Restlessness is God's way of loosening your grip on the old, so your hands will be free to receive the new. If He did not steer you, you would cling forever to the familiar, never daring to step into the unknown blessings prepared for you. Think of the eagle that stirs its nest, pulling away the feathers and comfort, until the young no longer find it easy to stay. That discomfort forces them to spread their wings and discover the sky. So it is with you. The unease you feel is the stirring of your nest. It is the divine invitation to rise higher. Do not despise the restlessness. It is not the end of something small. It is the beginning of something great. Synchronicities appear when life itself begins to speak in a language beyond logic. They are the gentle taps on your shoulder from the unseen, reminding you that what you seek is also seeking you. When God is preparing something greater for you, the ordinary rhythm of life starts to align in extraordinary ways. You may think it is chance, that you overheard a conversation that answered your deepest question, or that a book fell into your hands at the very moment you needed its message. But there are no accidents in a universe guided by divine order. These are signs that the path before you is being cleared and that your steps are being orchestrated with precision far beyond your own planning. You may notice repeating numbers, a friend calling just as you were thinking of them, or opportunities arriving in such perfect timing that you cannot ignore the meaning. These synchronicities are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They remind you that you are not walking alone, that heaven is weaving threads into your story with care. To the unawakened, these signs may look random, but to the one whose eyes are open, they are messages of alignment. They say, stay the course. You are in step with the greater plan. Often, synchronicities arrive when you are on the edge of doubt. Just when you begin to question whether your dream is too far, whether the promise is too high, a sign comes that lifts your spirit. It is as if God is saying, do not give up now, for you are closer than you know. The signs themselves are a form of encouragement, guiding you forward with assurance that the unseen is working in your favor. What is most beautiful about synchronicities is how personal they are. No one else may notice them, but to you, they are undeniable. They speak directly to your heart in a way no one else could interpret. That is how you know they are divinely tailored, crafted for your journey alone. When they appear, do not dismiss them. Pause, pay attention, and let them strengthen your faith. For every repeated number, every unexpected alignment, every perfect timing is a reminder that God has already gone ahead of you. What is coming is not random. It is written, and the signs along the way are His way of showing you that your blessing is already in motion. Losses are actually clearing, though in the moment they rarely feel that way. When something leaves your life, whether it is a relationship, a job, an opportunity, or even a long-held plan, the first response is often pain. It feels as if something has been torn away, as if you are being emptied against your will. Yet what seems like loss is often the divine hand removing what can no longer serve the person you are becoming. God does not take away to punish. He takes away to prepare. When a door closes, it is not the end of the story. It is the quiet beginning of something greater that requires space to enter. Imagine trying to carry a heavy bag while reaching for a new one filled with treasures. Unless you release what weighs you down, your hands cannot receive what is meant for you. So it is in life. We cling to the familiar because it feels safe, even when it no longer nourishes us. But the Spirit knows what lies ahead, and in love, it removes what we would not release on our own. That is why so many breakthroughs come after seasons of loss. The ground must be cleared before the new seed can be planted. Sometimes relationships drift apart, not because of hatred or failure, but because their purpose in your life has been fulfilled. Sometimes careers end, not because you were inadequate, but because your destiny calls you higher. Sometimes the plans you held tightly unravel, only to reveal a greater plan unfolding. In each of these moments, it is tempting to fight, to resist, to mourn what is slipping away. But what if you understood that the clearing is a form of protection? That what you lost would have limited you, distracted you, or delayed you from the greater blessing waiting just ahead. Look closely at your past. often you can see how what felt like devastating loss became the very thing that positioned you for growth. A closed door redirected your steps toward a better opportunity. An ended relationship freed you to discover who you truly are. An apparent failure trained you in strength you now rely upon. Loss is rarely loss. It is transformation. It is the Spirit's way of making room for more. When things fall away, do not despair. It is not emptiness. It is clearing. And what is coming will not only replace what was lost, but exceed it in ways you could not have imagined. Persistent desire is divine guidance. When a longing refuses to fade, when a vision continues to rise within you no matter how much time passes, it is not simply a passing wish. It is the soul recognizing what has already been written for it. Many desires come and go like sparks, but there are some that burn steadily, never allowing you to forget them. These are not accidents. They are divine whispers, pointing you toward the life you are meant to claim. The very fact that the dream lingers is proof that it belongs to you, for what is not yours will not stay in your spirit. At times, you may try to silence that desire. You may push it aside, telling yourself it is too big, too unrealistic, or too far beyond your reach. Yet no matter how often you ignore it, it returns. That is because the desire is not random. It is revelation. It is the Spirit showing you in advance what already exists for you in the unseen. The dream is not something you are creating out of nothing. It is something you are remembering, something already planted within you before you even recognized it. Persistent desire carries with it a kind of holy stubbornness. Even in seasons of doubt, even when circumstances seem impossible, something inside you keeps saying, "This is for me." You may feel weary, but the vision refuses to die. That endurance is itself a sign of divine guidance. For if it were only a product of your imagination, it would have faded long ago. Its persistence proves it is anchored in something greater than yourself. The purpose of that desire is not merely to inspire you, but to direct your steps. It pulls you toward new choices, new disciplines, new opportunities, often without you realizing it. Every action you take in service of that vision shapes you into the person capable of receiving it. The desire is the map, and your faith is the compass. Together, they lead you where you are meant to be. So when you find yourself haunted by a dream that will not leave, do not dismiss it. Honor it. It is your personal prophecy, your divine invitation, your proof that God has already prepared something with your name on it. Persistent desire is not a burden. It is a blessing. It is the guidance that assures you the life you long for is already yours, waiting only for your belief and your courage to claim it. Silence and inner peace reveal alignment. When life grows noisy and uncertain, it is easy to mistake chaos for reality. Yet beneath the surface, there is always a deeper current guiding you, and when you are aligned with the divine plan, that current reveals itself as peace. It is not the peace that depends on circumstances being perfect, but the kind that whispers in your spirit, even when storms rage around you. This inner calm is a signal, a sacred confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be, even if outward appearances suggest otherwise. There comes a moment in every journey when striving gives way to surrender. You stop forcing, you stop grasping, and instead, you enter into stillness. In that stillness, clarity emerges. Answers that once felt distant begin to surface without effort. You realize that silence is not emptiness. It is communication. It is the voice of God that speaks not in thunder, but in a gentle assurance that cannot be shaken. When you sense this peace, you know alignment is present, For peace is the language of the spirit. Often, before something great unfolds, life invites you into silence. It may feel like pause, like delay, or even like nothing is happening. But silence is where the unseen work takes place. Just as seeds germinate in darkness, before breaking through the soil, your blessings mature in silence before appearing in your life. If you can honor those quiet seasons, resisting the urge to rush ahead, you will discover that peace is not absence but presence. The presence of guidance, the presence of certainty, the presence of alignment. What makes this inner peace so profound is its resilience. Doubts may knock, fears may whisper, but something deeper within remains steady. You may not know how things will come together, but you know they will. That knowing does not come from logic or evidence. It comes from spirit. It is the mark of alignment between your desire and divine timing. When you feel this silence and peace, pay attention. It means you no longer need to chase what is already flowing toward you. The alignment is complete. What belongs to you is on its way, and the stillness within you is the proof. Peace is not passive, it is powerful. It is the echo of heaven reminding you that all is well and that the blessing already carries your name. The impossible feels possible when you are on the edge of breakthrough. There comes a shift within, a subtle yet undeniable change in perception, where what once seemed too far beyond reach suddenly feels within grasp. Nothing external may have changed. Your circumstances may look the same, your resources may still appear limited, but something deep inside of you awakens with certainty. It is as if the veil has lifted, and the dream that once felt impossible is now alive with possibility. This shift is not born of logic, but of faith. It is the Spirit revealing that the boundaries you once believed in were never real, and that greater things are already written for you. When God is about to release something big into your life, He first changes your vision. You stop measuring by what you see with natural eyes and begin to sense with spiritual eyes. You no longer say, "I can't," but rather, "Why not me?" That is the moment impossibility crumbles. The dream has not yet arrived in physical form, but you carry it with such conviction that it feels inevitable. That inner conviction is a sure sign that heaven is aligning with your heart. It is important to notice how this shift often comes right after the season of doubt and resistance. When you have wrestled with fear, endured setbacks, and faced closed doors, something in your spirit grows stronger. Out of that refining process comes a confidence that no evidence can explain. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, believe differently, because you are no longer bound by what is seen. This confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is the recognition that with God, nothing is truly impossible. And then, small signs begin to follow that inner knowing. Opportunities arise that match the vision. Resources flow where there once was lack. People appear who help carry the dream forward. Each confirmation deepens the sense that you are stepping into something extraordinary. What felt far away now feels near, not because it has fully arrived, but because your spirit has already received it. When the impossible feels possible, it is the greatest sign that your breakthrough is imminent. The shift within always precedes the manifestation without. It is heaven's way of telling you that the door is opening, that what you once doubted is already making its way to you. The impossible is only a signal word for soon to be real. Would you like me to gather all 6 expanded sections into one flowing full speech, so it reads as a complete piece from beginning to end? And so, when you find yourself restless, when signs and synchronicities surround you, when losses come that feel heavy, when a desire refuses to die, when silence fills your days with peace, and when the impossible suddenly feels possible. Know this: you are standing on holy ground. You are closer than you think. These are not random moments, they are divine signals. The quiet language of God telling you that something greater is unfolding. Trust the process, hold fast to faith, and walk forward with courage. For what is coming is not small, not ordinary, not fleeting. What is coming carries the weight of promise, the fullness of destiny, and the beauty of divine timing. And when it arrives, you will look back and see that every sign, every stirring, every shift was preparing you for this very moment.